Alright, we've got chapter 2, hopefully we're getting towards the end of chapter 2. This is the proof part. This is the hardest thing to teach students, right? So I pushed you really hard first chapter, right, for a reason. Because when you get to chapter 2, most students throughout the state have trouble with this, okay? Looking at my daughter right now, she's having trouble with this, okay? So hopefully you guys will get into this and go, oh, this is easy, all right? That was my goal, okay? So if it is easy, you're welcome, okay? If it isn't, well, I tried. That's all I can say, okay? So, reflexive property. The reflexive property I like to think of as the identity property. We used to teach it as identity property back when I first started teaching. And all it is like looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay? So, EF is congruent to EF. You're just saying that, you know, that A is A, B is B. Angle 1 is angle 1. Okay? It's congruent to itself. Alright? Sometimes that becomes very important, especially if one angle is called LDF, and that same angle is also called angle 1, and you want to prove that. Okay? The next one, symmetric property. All that means is it's like looking in the mirror. Okay? So, all it's doing is it's symmetrical to itself. It's saying if angle 1 is equal to angle 2, then angle 2 is equal to angle 1. It's just going backwards. It's just the converse, in other words. Okay? So it's the converse of this, well, not the first one, but it's the converse of anything where you're saying angle 1 is equal to something. Then you can say that same something is equal to angle 1. That's it. Okay? We will be using that a lot. So reflexive and symmetric, need to have this in your notes. Okay? All year long we'll be using this. So these are really important. Next, transitive property. We went over that first semester. They're just introducing it now. It's so weird how they expect you to do things in the earlier in the book, like quadratic formula. Yet they didn't. They don't go over quadratic until the 10th chapter. So you'll have to do quadratic formula later on in the book too. Okay. So you're just expected to do some things before they actually give you the rules. So transitive property is this: if angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 and angle 2 is congruent to angle 3, remember, then we just get rid of those two angle 2's and we're saying that angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. That's it. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. That's it. Okay? So in your homework, 13 says angle 2 or angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, angle 2 is congruent to angle 4. And it wants you to write the property. What property is this when it says therefore angle 1 is congruent to angle 4? What property is that? Yeah, it's transitive. And that's as easy as it gets. I mean, right there. Okay? Next, they ask you, well, if ST is congruent to YZ and YZ is congruent to PR, then ST is congruent to PR. What property is that? Transitive. Yeah. So we had two transitives in a row. Okay. Sorry. Okay. If I wanted to create a symmetric property, give me a symmetric property with AB. If AB, what would AB be congruent to? If I wanted to use it as a symmetric property, as a symmetric. Huh?
Can you take guesses?
Yeah, I'll take guesses. BA. Yeah. Okay. So what would be the identity one, or reflexive? Which one's that? Reflexive. Okay. Skylar. So I want to first set this up. So number 16. Right? How do I set this up? Okay? What's the first rule? What's the first rule when we're doing a proof? Do you remember? That's okay. Does anyone remember the first rule of doing a proof? A lot of times we say, segment addition postulate, right? Or angle addition postulate. But sometimes, especially in this one, a lot of times, what the first rule, and I won't say always, but I'll say almost always in geometry, the first rule is given. Okay? So when they're giving you a proof, they're going to give you something. Right? They're going to give you something. They're going to say A equals B, or 5x minus 3 equals 4x plus 2. Okay? They're going to give you something. Okay? And then you got to prove it. And they're going to say prove x equals something. Whatever x equals. Okay? Or they're going to say, they're going to give you a couple of angles. Angle 1 is equal to angle 3. And then they're going to say prove angle 1 is equal to angle 4. Okay? So then you've got to go through your proof. That's what this next chapter is going to be about. Okay? So the first step, almost always, not always, but almost always. Remember last chapter we were starting our first step with segment addition postulate, right? We were starting our own proofs. Okay? But when you're given a proof, you're given what's called a given. Okay? Somebody tells you something is equal to something, that's a given. Okay? And so your first rule is going to be given. Okay? So that's a really important start. Alright, Skylar, I'm going to let you redeem yourself right here. This is not a trick question. Just go with your gut, okay? I know you think I'm trying to trick you. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm not putting you on blast. But watch. What can you do first? What could you do first? The given? Okay, perfect. And then what would be the second step?
Multiply 4 times x 2.
Very good, Skylar. Right? Right? No, it's cool. No, I was just trying to. That's good though. I like it when people are helping out. So, multiply the 4. That's a great start. Okay? So, because I can't collect like terms, right? What I really need to do first is multiply the 4, right? So everybody on the block gets a paper. But, I might say everybody on the block gets a paper, right? I might also say clamshell or half clam, right? But what are you supposed to say? What is this called when you distribute the 4 times the x and the 4 times the 2 to get 8? What's that called? Distribution. Nice. I like how you pick up when I'm laying down. Okay? I'm going to lay it down a lot for you. If you listen to my hints, I'm going to always lay it down for you in the beginning. And then I'm going to start asking and expecting more. Like this next part. Right? MTS.
Yeah.
What would I do next?
You would do more math.
Yes, but which one would I move? You remember our first rule last year in Algebra 1, remember? I know you're new back, so I'm not looking.
Yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah?
just kidding. Fuck, I don't remember, man.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Skylar, what would I do? Sancha, what could I do? What could I do? Which one would I move?
What do you mean?
Oh my god.
8.
The reason you could move the 8,
What
but
about the X?
I'm scared.
the X's, we really want to get the X's together, right? So Lamont, what X should I grab? Why 4? Because it's smaller. Yeah. Because when we start doing inequalities, it's really important to move the smallest X. Okay? So if I want to move 4, how do I move that, Lamont? Yeah. Subtract 4 from both sides. Okay? I'm always doing the opposite, right, Sanchez?
Yes. Well,
Sam?
Yeah, sorry about that, Sancha. And
this one teacher calls me Sanchi.
nice.
Actually. Yeah.
After you called me Sanchi?
Sanchi.
Doesn't that mean something?
Mateus, what is this? What's 4 from 5? Let's stay focused. Where's your notes? Where's your notes, Mateus? We talked about this last night. All right. So, Skylar,
Shit, they're at home.
5 minus 4.
I played basketball.
Yeah, simple, right? Come on, guys, let's focus. This should be easy. This should be easy, okay? Now, this is your 3rd step. We should know what this step is by now. Right, Chica? What's this step called?
Wait, no. Wait.
Good catch, good catch.
Anybody knocked any out of his football jersey?
Yes, did you hear that, Mateus?
Yes.
What'd she say? Exactly. Shut your mouth. Focus. Get your notes out. If you don't have notes, grab some notes.
Grab a piece of
Get
paper.
another piece of paper. Get another notebook. I'll give you a notebook. I don't care, but come on. Let's focus. Don't waste your time, in other words. Can you say it again, Chantal? Sorry. Chica.
Subtraction.
Subtraction property of equality. Subtraction property of equality. Guys, does this look familiar? Skylar, does this look familiar? What is it?
Yeah.
Well, what would I do here? What would I do next? Just looking up here. What could I do next? Get next along. What could I do next? Think opposite. Think opposite. Always do the opposite. So if I'm subtracting 3, I want to add what? There you go. Okay? So if I'm subtracting 3, I want to add 3. Okay? So x, the other Skylar, x equals what? Huh? This orange is bad.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not 8.
You just said that.
8 plus 3. Come on, guys.
11.
11. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie,
Dude, that's
hook
very
me up.
short and
Skylar, this is not hard. Come on. We've been doing this. This is why you're not done with your guys' first chapter test, right? X equals 3. Is that not right? Well, what is it?
X equals 11.
Okay, cool, because I thought you guys weren't paying attention. Okay? I know it's early, but what's this called, Teresa?
Additional
Perfect. Addition property. Good job. Is that Eddie? Did I hear Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, if it asks you for x, then you're done, right? Okay? And you proved that x equals 11. That's the proof. Okay? That's chapter 2. All right? Let's do number 15 really quick. Okay? I want to show you how easy this is. Mateus, you're going to help me now that you've been paying such good attention.
Such close attention.
Okay? So, we have, sorry, 17. I already did 15. My bad. 17. Okay, 1.6 equals 3.2. 1.6 equals 3.2 in. All right, what's the first step, Mateus? Look up above. Look up above. What's the first step?
You're gonna put things in place.
Yes. What was the first step up here? Look at the green color. Think green. Given. Good. Okay. That's your first step. Always in a proof. Given. Okay. Well, not always, but
Almost all.
almost always, right? All right. What's your second step then, Mateus? What do I do now? What's the opposite? What's going on? The opposite of what's happening between the 3.2 and the n? Is it multiplying? Is it adding? Is it subtracting? Is it dividing? What is it doing?
Looks like it's multiplying.
It's multiplying. So what's the opposite of that?
Divide
Yes. And that's what you do. Divide by what?
by
3.2. Okay? What'd you do to one side?
the other.
Okay? All right, now, I know that this is half. Right? But, how do I know that? Well, this is really 16 over 32, right?
No.
Because I just moved the decimal over. Boom, 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 boom. And then if I break 16 over 32, well, 16 goes into 16 once, 16 goes into 32 twice. So this is a half. It doesn't look like a half, does it? It looks like I need to pull out my calculator. You don't. Half the time they give you these numbers, they might look like decimals. They might look difficult, but they're not difficult. Use your upside down division. If you don't see the 16, use 2. How many times does 2 go into 16? How many times does 2 go into 32? Okay, how many times does 2 go into 8? Right? You can use your prime factorization, right? So 4 and 8. 2 and 1 and 2. Okay? You can use simple numbers to get to your bottom number. If you realize that now you realize 4 goes into both of them, use 4. You see what I'm saying? Make it simple for yourself. So Mateus, I got 1/2 equals n. Okay, give me the rule that we use to get there. What did you do? Santa, what did he do? Divided, right? So what's it called? Division.
Property of equality.
Here, there you go. Nice help. I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. But
That's stupid.
division, property of equality. Remember last chapter I said that these properties of equalities are going to come up a lot. Okay? They will. And I just told you the reflexive, the symmetry, the transitive is going to come up a lot. They will. Believe me. These and these come up a ton. These come up the most. Subtraction, addition, and division come up the most. You will do that almost every time. Okay? All right, that's